So, we are live with the Skip Barber Challenge Trophy here tonight from beautiful Indianapolis. We're ready to roll out the cars for the qualifying here with Paolo Ansioso trying to get heat into his tires. But that's not all here tonight. Tobias Bollmark, of course, is already here, trying to do the same as Paolo did. Geoff Randall, of course, is on the track. Everyone tries to get their fastest lap in. This is the Skip Barber Challenge Trophy. Every Friday we race the official schedule. We got a spinning wheel which determines one of 4 formats for the race evening. Tonight we have a 60-minute, let's say, Ironman endurance race here tonight with 2 pit stops coming up, and here's the first lap by Geoff Randall. It's going over the long start-finish straight. It's backwards to the oval of the famous, let's call it the redacted 500. Now the infield, tricky corners. It's very likely to spin if you don't have good car control or warm tires. After 2 or 3 laps, it's perfectly fine, it's great. But the first 1 or 2 laps are sometimes pretty crazy. Like here, weight shifting on the tires, but he got it. Perfectly done. Now it's not a far distance to the next big braking zone. Yeah, he's cutting the curb very gently but nicely, and he needs that. Also here. Now to the start-finish line. No times are in at the moment. Let's activate the ticker. You will see the best laps on top. And the last laps behind the drivers. So all the information is on your screen right now. You need for this qualifying 6 minutes to go. Very packed together. 141.3, 141.7, 141.7. The first 3. And also Neil Gardner with a 141.8 is still in contention there. I see that Klaus Biedermann also put a time in, and it doesn't count. There must be an off track there. It's also now on lap 2. Some drivers are missing out tonight. Maybe also has to do with the track. And Geoff Randall for the second lap. Is he improving? Let's find out. 149. Fast lap, 149.57 by Geoff Randall. Let's see what Tobias is doing. He's 6/10 off the time of Jeff. And Patrick Autoricki is now in P3. So I don't know how important the starting position will be here tonight because of the super long race of 60 minutes and 2 pit stops. I think the pit entry will be crucial tonight. That will be the hardest part, where to gain or lose some nice positions. Also maybe play around a little bit with the fuel, but not too much. Patrick now down to P5. Rody van der Meyden is already done in P4, standing there on the start-finish stretch. Klaus Biedermann in P2. Amazing. 141.588. Seems to be a good session. I had a very cold one. It was very slippery. This should be in the sweet spot. Not too cold, not too warm. He's now down to P3, but Klaus Biedermann is down to his teammate in P2. So also looking quite good for Team Atal, the German team here in the cup. And there's Paolo Ansioso now in P2. Amazing. How did that happen? Wow. Ballmark in P3. Going for the jump to finish off his qualifying. Neil Gardner in P4. Anyone still driving? Yes, Marcel Brunschwiller seems to be still driving on a fast lap. 3/10 quicker. Biedermann down now to P6. But you can see with that qualifying how the track is improving, or not the track, how the tires are improving the track time of the cars. Adam Miles now the fastest man on the track. Taking pole from Jeff. And nobody, he can't counter that. He can't make a counter. He already has his 4 laps. So in the end, it's done. Yeah, well, Friday. Good evening, Kyle. Yes, it is. It's Friday. No, I don't do that. So Adam is on pole, and basically there's just Patrick Autoricki, who's now finishing his last lap. But he isn't improving, so Adam Miles is on pole, that's clear. Oh, he is improving, Patrick Autoricki. He's now in P7. But still, Adam Miles, is on pole, that's clear. Nobody can take that away from him now. So let's make a quick commercial and then head back on track for our 60-minute Ironman Indianapolis super race here tonight with 14 drivers in the mix. Will be quite interesting. So let's look into the grid, which we are having here tonight at Indianapolis road course. Adam Miles, great pole here, 1:46.62, also improved on his last lap again. Jeff Randall on P2, Marcel Brunschwiller in P3, Paolo Ansioso P4, Tobias Bollmark in P5, Neil Gardner in P6, Patrick Autoricki in P7, Klaus Biedermann in P8. On the second page, Chris Wayne in P9, Ryan Jackson P10, Rody van der Meyden in P11, Gordon von den Bergen in P12, Mark Redford in P13, P14, AJ Campbell. So, and we're ready, it seems, already to race. Let's go! Adam Miles leads away the pack into the first corner. Everyone seemed to be quite... are they behaving? I don't know. The stands are packed here for this big skippy race, and we have a big crash in the back. Of course. That's unfortunate. That's pretty unfortunate. Let's find out who's in the back of the pack. It's of course Klaus Biedermann, who is spinning now again. And AJ Campbell is racing, but he's fine. No issues here for him. So, but again, 3 wide. Chris Wayne is backing out of that, having nothing on this. Let's check out Chris Wayne's perspective. Losing some time here behind Gordon von den Bergen, and we have a position change incoming. Tobias Bollmark on the run, and Paolo with the mistake. That's what I said on lap 1. It's quite tricky, but we have a fast repair and of course 2 stops. But I think fastest in the draft, the right will be. So here comes, and touches Tobias. He's now in trouble. Behind Tobias, Patrick Autoricki now coming through the inside. There is trouble again ahead. Oh, yeah, that is big trouble. Not many cars on track, yet still crashes all over the place. So this brings Paolo back into P4. Behind him Neil, behind him Patrick. Yes, that's correct, Kyle. It's amazing. On board with AJ Campbell in P11 now. Jackson, Bollmark and Biedermann behind him. So it's not 50%, but it's also not so good. But as I said, I did one race here, and it was super tricky to get people out of your slipstream. It was more like using another driver to fight the guy behind you to get out of that. Super tricky stuff here with the long straights. In the infield, yeah, you can make some gains, but yeah, it's a skippy. The draft is so massive. Yeah, I just did one race, and on lap 1 and lap 2, the tires are so cold. It's not quite a fun there. Ryan Jackson in the pits. Ah, there's Klaus. Maybe he did make some smoke in the back. Oh no, it was Tobias, I guess, who crashed his car in T1. Well, I think it's great racing in the skippies. Like here. I'm on board with Gordon. We're in lap 3 of 36. Or whatever counts first, I must say. If I count 36 laps in my head, does it fit up to 55 minutes? I don't know. But the fuel is limited to 45%. 45% of course mean that we have 2 pit stops coming up. So now maybe you can see what the draft is doing to the car of Gordon, while the fastest lap goes to Adam. So he comes nearer. So incredible with the draft, and another spinner. Another spinner. And off goes also Paolo. Oh my goodness. Let's try to find out what happened there. Okay, this again happens. That's weird. Didn't happen before. So we see Paolo Ansioso in the front. Going in. And then he gets catched here on the rear of his car. Yeah, that's not so good, but he's still on the way. No damage has been done to his car. Chris Wayne now in P10. Let's have maybe then the pit stop count activated for later in the race. Rody is now in P9, P6. Car number 9 in P6. Yeah, I would be hyped about the track, I must say, because the racing in the infield is great if it works. But of course the draft is sometimes difficult. So, number of pit stops 0, that's correct. So now he's closing in again. Now a difficult corner. Because you just dropped the gear, try to hit the curb, maybe even more than Rody did here, and also the cars in front. You don't want to go wide here. It slows you down on the grayer tarmac. Seems Tobias is going out of his way. No, it's Patrick, sorry. Always mixing up the cars. Patrick Autoricki there, going out of the slipstream and also breaking the slipstream for Rody a little bit. Let's head to Adam, who is in front. Nobody in his view, but behind him, Geoff Randall and of course Marcel Brunschwiller. So let's make Marcel our camera child here tonight. And behind them there is another battle group. Here it comes. And right into the next braking zone in turn 1. But this time it's all good. Working like a charm between those three and also the first three How is it in the back? Oh, there's another battle group with 3 cars. Mark Redford in front of Gordon Vondenberg and AJ Kaplan, P9. So battle for P7 here. Behind them, yeah, there are big gaps. Tobias Bollmark already quit. He's done with the race tonight. Oh, and we have Gordon pushing through the inside line, having the place of Mark Redford. AJ Campbell also looking for his opportunity. So 15 minutes to go. AJ lost here a little bit, but they will fight, so it will maybe get him nearer again. But in front, of course, Adam Miles is leading up ahead. Behind him, Geoff Randall, P3, Wunschwiller, 3-pack battle. And of course here, Patrick Autoricki in front of Rody van der Meyden and Neil. Aha, Neil Garner. Aha, I just realized that the overlay tool is so in bad shape that I can't even click names anymore correctly in the tab. Well, as maybe Roger Moore would have said. So, AJ in P10 now, falling back a little bit behind Gordon and Chris Wayne. And here comes Paolo Anzioso in P11, Klaus Biedermann in P12. In the end, if you finish the race, good points added. Doesn't matter. Of course, in the back, maybe it's more like an extended time trial, but who knows what happens? Maybe 2 or 3 car crashes, you're back in the top 10. Never know. So let's try at least to get on board with Wunschwiller. So nobody stopped at that point. Well, let's say if they didn't crash. Marcel is hanging on, but also would be a great podium, of course, behind these 2 drivers, Jeff and Adam. And here's Chris Wayne, but in front of him, 5-second gap. Behind him, a 2-second gap to AJ Campbell. Mark Redford also very gappy now, but here we have, yeah, basically P1, 2 and 3 are in a battle, and P4, 5 and 6. Let's see if we can get another impression of how the draft works. There's quite a distance of 5-6 car length, but in the end he will close the gap. Ah, there's Autoricki trying to make Rody a little bit nervous, but it works quite out. It works. I thought maybe Rody is checking his mirror and making a mistake, but he didn't. So let's head back. Oh, no. Or maybe not head back? I'm not sure what happens now. Oh! It's Patrick going through. And also, yeah, Rody is losing 2 positions. 2 positions lost for Rody. Adam with the fastest lap, and here comes Rody van der Meijden. Live on board, going for the deep dive. No. Just looking a little bit for it, but we all know the better overtaking spot is the next one. It's quite far away here. Let's see how this develops. While Adam Miles is trying to fight off Jeff Randall. Is he trying something? They're now in lap 11 soon as they cross the line. Jeff with the fastest lap in the draft, and also not only the fastest lap, but the amount of fuel spent will be lower here in the draft. Maybe he can even save a little bit. The only thing I'm really worried about is like the sun is setting, and if I remember correctly, no, the sun isn't setting. It's an early morning session. If it's I reversed the track in my head, of course. So sun is rising. Could be a little bit warmer later on. Yeah, beautifully here over the curbs. I really like that corner. Can be tricky on the outside then. And I have the feeling, yeah, really looks like it, that Marcel Brunschwiller here in the back is losing some of his draft right now. He's still quite comfortable in P3. Because Neil Gardner is 8 seconds behind. And what is going on here? Ah! The first pit stops. Patrick Autoricki decided to dive for the pits. And Rody was like, yeah, I'm coming with you, buddy. And they can continue their drafting, of course, that way. I don't know what their calculations are in that regard, because Mark Redford is still going, now in P5. But if my math is correct, it's like yeah, 12 laps per. Oops, what was that? Nothing. 12 laps by 36 laps. It's yeah, 1/3 of the race distance. Seems AJ Campbell is gone. Maybe he's also in the pits. Nope, he's just gone. Don't know what happened. While they are leaving the pits. Yeah, exiting pit lane. Oh, very close here. So this is Patrick Autery. Okay, okay, okay. Behave, gentlemen. This is Ryan Jackson, right? Yeah, it is. So basically Patrick coming out of the pits and now maybe even having damage with that contact. Weird race here tonight. And we can see that Marcel and the rest of the front runners is in the pits. There they come. Coming into the pits for their first stop of 2. Adam Miles also stopped. Somebody, no, I thought somebody's exiting the pits, but that's not the case. So we can see by the tents there would have been plenty of room for other drivers. From the pit lane now back on the track. Wunschwiller not closed the gap considerably, but AJ Miles extended his in front of Jeff Randall. Yeah, Chris Wayne is still running. Saved some fuel, and what do we have here? It's Ryan Jackson in P5. Rody van der Maiden behind. And Neil Gardner coming up. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, and it's Patrick Autery for stop number 2. Seems he's fueling up his car and getting a fast repair. And now back in P12. So that puts Klaus Biedermann with 1 stop. He already did in P11. And we have more battle going on here because Neil Gardner is trying to get the position of Ryan Jackson. Let's see if that works out for him. And after that I try to show you what happened to AJ. Ah, AJ is in the chat. Declaring that drivers here driving like Pasta Maldonado, and he got a meatball flag. Oh, even a DQ. Yeah, that's a shame, of course. Ah, you got a meatball, did drive on, yeah. Yeah, don't talk bad about Mr. Maldonado. Yeah, maybe then come in, make your pit stop, and use the fast repair. I mean, you have 4 laps until you get black flag then. But yeah, it is what it is. I think even Patrick got either damage or the meatball flag with the contact with Ryan. So Ryan Jackson for the pits. Already had a stop because of his incident. Now it's going into the long pit straight. Other cars are driving by. Takes a while to get there. Yeah, usually you drive it the other way around. Yeah, that the meatball does not vanish, that happens. That's true. Totally weird. And also there was a bug, like I knew how to reproduce it and I sent it in as a ticket. I can't quite remember right now, but it was also about pit stops and that things in the black box got unchecked again when you make a driver change, a driver swap. It was totally annoying. Because then you're standing there and wondering like, huh? Why is nobody doing the tires? Yeah, then a couple of seconds are lost. But yeah, I think they fixed it, so it's all fine. So Adam Miles leads the race of Indianapolis here in the Skip Barber Challenge Trophy in front of Geoff Randall, Marcel Brunschwiller, Brunschwiller in P3, Rody van der Meijden in P4. There he is. Everyone did one stop. Also Neil Gardner in P5. Mark Redford in P6. Gordon Vondenbergen in P7. Chris Wayne in P8 right now, followed by Paolo Anzioso and Klaus Biedermann in P10. Behind them, Patrick Otoricki, forever alone it seems. Nope, there's somebody coming. Ryan Jackson, his frenemy of some couple of laps before. Yeah, Brunschwiller, the fans in the chat acknowledged that he's running for a podium. Good for him. And it's always the case, like you race in the league, you know what the schedule is. We're doing the official schedule, so you knew Indianapolis would be up. But it's yeah, a points taker for the drivers showing up here tonight. And maybe even some of the drivers who finish further in the back. If we have a 25-ish car grid. But tonight they can make big points and it won't be a drop week, of course. So I'm even more wondering why in the first couple of laps there was so much carnage, so much contacts, so many contacts, and yeah. But yet again, stuff happens. So Klaus, former real-life racing driver, back in the day. He also had a role in the movie, how was it called in English? Monuments Man, with George Clooney as an extra. Fun fact here, because I'm really now, I'm totally out of shape right now. What else to tell you? Paolo is closing in on Chris Wayne, that's good. So we have some more racing action. In the front we have Adam Miles separated by 1.6 seconds to Jeff. Marcel is 8 seconds behind that. 7 seconds behind them is Rody. So basically there's... yeah, there are cars, 12 cars going around the track. So it's not an issue for me that there are not many cars, but it's also a very long track to drive in the Skippy, basically. So yeah, it is the race of endurance here tonight. Maybe, yeah, it would be more funny to have a smaller track with the 60-minute like Sukuba or whatever. But at least Paolo is doing some stuff here. For some reason, the overlay changed to last lap. What's going on? No. It is. So the overlay changed to last lap. Is there something going on what I don't know? Because I deactivated the sound, in-game sound. Maybe they all agreed like that's it. I don't know, let's see. It's halftime, lap 18 of 36. But it's telling me last lap, but maybe the overlay is again buggy. But if it is the last lap, let's see. It's a good opportunity for Paolo to take another position. But from the chat already the answer, it's a bug. Le bug of Indianapolis. Weird stuff. But Paolo racing Chris Wayne. And we are now in lap 19. So this works out. Going by is Paolo Ansioso. Get to the chopper, I would say. Yeah. Already slotted back to the outside line. Cutting a little bit over the entry curb. And yeah, that's it. Now again, this tricky corner here. Dropping down the gear, going over the curbs, hitting the throttle in the right place. And off he goes. But in the end, Mr. Chris Wayne will have the advantage here of the slipstream. A little mistake by Paolo. Chris is trying to hang on. So now you can see the gaps again instead of the last lap. But Paolo created some separation here. But you can see that the separation he created in the second infield section isn't quite enough to get rid of Chris, who stays in the slipstream and is now trying again to close in on Paolo. This is a good run for him. Not on the gray stuff. It's dirty. And here we go. A very nice combination of corners. And Chris Wade stays with Paolo. In the front, the gap is now up to nearly 3 seconds. So doubled it, and we have Gordon von den Bergen in the pits for stop number 2. Rolling through the pits takes a while we have the battle still going between Paolo and Chris. Uh-oh, oh! Hopefully no floor damage. It was harsh. But an off track, it could have been there. So 24 minutes to go. We're in lap 21 of 36. And where is Gordon? Down in P12 with his second stop. It takes a long time, it seems, to get into the pits and out again. But he lost so many positions. That takes Rody in P4. Created a gap to Neil Gardner in P5. Oh, and Chris Wayne is again attacking Paolo. And made it through. Interesting, and there goes Paolo wide a little bit. But he catched the car. As I said, it's a difficult corner, even on warm tires. Because if you want to go full speed through there... Oh! Paolo is racy tonight, trying to get back into P7. So I wonder when Adam is coming in for his second pit stop. How long will he wait for it? Because if he does it now or on the next lap, he still has 1/3 of the race in front of him. So it would make sense, but if he can go longer, because also maybe he can lift at times, because yeah, 5-second gap to Jeff behind him, or 4.6-ish, would give him the opportunity to save fuel. Because fueling up the car of the Skippy is quite, yeah. They're like they have a bottle and put it in, and that's it. There's no liter by liter fueling, but you can, of course, stop the fueling with a shortcut. But then you have to be precise on your calculations. Well, that looks good. A good run for Paolo on Neil again. Only battle we have on the track. And Paolo stays behind, lifting early, slotting in behind Chris Wayne in P7. Next time I really need to get, I don't know, short facts about every driver to tell you some stuff. So Neil is, sitting in P5. Mark Redford 7 seconds behind. Rody 5.5 in front. Nothing much happening there. And there's Marcel going into the pits, and so is Adam and Jeff. And yeah, there in the back comes Marcel. They really did that after lap 24. They came into the pits, so it's again basically 12 laps per stint. Adam sets up his car nicely there in the number 1 spot for the exit. And there's still Marcel rolling in. So are some other cars, but in the end, the gap is good enough. But if I look there in the back, there are cars coming the way of Adam. And it should be... No, it's Jeff coming also out, and it's Paolo and Chris Wayne. Now in P2 and P3. But they still have to do their second stop, of course. But it also shows like what is possible in the draft. Gordon now back in P10 after other cars have pitted, and in front of him is Mark Redford, so he can still get back up to P9. And also Ryan Jackson maybe is still somebody he could catch. Let's see how it works out. Klaus Biedermann coming out of the pits in P11. Patrick Autoricki in P12. Also doing his final stop. You can see number of stops 3. Of course, he had to stop one more time than the others. And there comes Adama. What is that? What is... Ah! It's Paolo entering the pits. And Chris Wayne can go one more lap. 1.1 seconds behind Adam Miles. I hope that's not a risk which Chris is doing. So Paolo goes into the pits. Jeff is through. Chris Wayne behind the leader in P2. Number of stops 1. So yeah, quite interesting. I don't know how much he fueled, what he fueled. But there's no more draft he can get there. And we have Paolo tumbling down the order. Isn't he staying quite long? Maybe too long? Now he's going off. He's in P10. But that seemed a little bit long. Should be fitting. Should be fitting. Lost about 39 seconds. The rest is between 40 and 42. So basically it was also a good stopping time. Looked a little bit long. Adam leads. And behind him Chris Wayne, who is now coming into the pits. So let's see what works out here for Paolo, because at the end of this lap he either should see Chris Wayne exiting the pits or he should have him behind him. What will it be? Chris now still stationary in the pits. Yeah. No, he's... Oof. Oof. Oh, that doesn't look good. What is going on here? Not quite catching his pit crew. That should be... Yeah, I see a car in the pits. It is Chris Wayne still standing. And Paolo is already reaching at this point the position of Chris Wayne, who is still standing now. He's moving on. So is Ryan Jackson soon. Yeah, that wasn't the best of stops, which Chris could have hoped for. And Klaus Biedermann now in P9. Or back to P10. See if they can put on a show. He stays in the gear, interesting. And Ryan Jackson overtook Patrick Autoricki. Not far behind Chris and Klaus. But here we have Gordon Vonenbergen right behind the tail of Mark Redford. Going for the inside move. And makes it through the corner of the infield to lead Mark Redford on to the next short straight. Here comes, but no attack by Mark. But on the other hand, Klaus Biedermann 6, 7 tenths behind Chris. Could still be possible to get P9 as a result for Klaus. He can stick with Chris till the end of the race, and we are already in lap 29 at a miles. Yeah, it's very, very clear. 12 seconds in front of Jeff Marcel is also 12 seconds exactly behind Jeff. And Rody is in P4, maybe closing in. Could be interesting to see if he can make it on the podium, but the gap is getting a little bit by little gets bigger and bigger. 2.9 to 3.1. Let's see how the timing works here on the track. So we have still Mark Redford behind Gordon Vondenbergen in the fight for P6. And it's difficult still, even with the warm tires, to hold the cars together. Could also imagine that we had a longer pit stop for some people because they didn't uncheck the tires. And that's now the opportunity for Klaus, who's now already in front of Chris. Maybe Chris can strike back. Not now, but here comes Patrick Autoricki and Ryan Jackson in the battle for P11. Nobody wants to run last, even with a 14-car grid. So Patrick in front of Ryan at the moment, and Klaus in front of Chris. Mark is trying to chase down Gordon for P6. Whoa! That's interesting. Because Gordon is heading again for the pits. He already had 2 stops, so there must have been an issue. Maybe that's also why he is on a different strategy, because of the beginning a contact maybe was made. So Gordon from P7 will drop the order a little bit, and we can see that Chris Wayne is still on the tail of Klaus, and also Ryan is right behind Patrick Autoricki here in lap 31 of 36. I have the feeling with 6 minutes left, the time limit will come before the lap limit. That's the best overtaking spot in my opinion. If you come out there out of the chicane, already have a start of a draft. So goes Ryan Jackson to P10. Yeah, but you can't completely ignore it. You have to go into the pits. Maybe with a pit stop in after 3 laps going. Maybe it would have worked. Ah, 1 more lap. Okay. Yeah, maybe with some fuel saving. I don't know. So we got 5 minutes to go. Adam Miles leads the way with a stellar drive in front of Jeff Randall. Nearly 15 seconds of a gap. Marcel Brunschwiller in P3 keeps the 12-second mark. Rody comes closer. Close down to 1.8. See if it stays that way. Yeah, it seems. So Rody is closing in on Marcel. There he is. Maybe snatches away P3 the podium in this endurance race. He was at 3 seconds, is now at 1.6. Maybe Marcel did underfuel because the gap is getting smaller and smaller. Now let's see if he can catch him and get the podium position. Chris still directly behind Klaus for P8 in the battle. 5/10 behind him. Now 3. Getting closer on the brakes. Patrick Autoricki tries the same with Ryan Jackson. Maybe this is where he can make the move. Nope, he stays behind. Still tactical after all the laps they've done. Maybe waits just for his chance. Rody 1.6 behind Marcel. We are now under 3 minutes of this big endurance race. Yeah, really a test of endurance here tonight. Chris running P9, but still, if he could find 1 or 2 tenths, he could maybe re-overtake Klaus. But if he didn't find it over the course of the race, I don't think he will find it in the last couple of laps. So here comes Rody. Still closing in on Marcel. 1.2 now the gap. But time is running out. Time is in favor of the German driver Marcel Brunschwiller. The gap came down to 0.8. Will be interesting if he can battle for the podium with just 50 seconds to go. Where's Adam? Right here on the back straight. It shows 2 laps to go, but I wouldn't be too sure about that because we have just 39 seconds. So maybe the overlay is lying again. Brody closing in on Marcel. This will be a nail biter for all the fans of Marcel. And yeah, it must be the last lap. We have now white flag condition. And no, it's already finishing. It's the last lap already. Okay. We move to white flag. So Adam Miles is winning the race from 2 laps to go directly to white flag. That's it. Time did run out. Geoff Randall comes in P2. P3 is now still in the hands of Marcel. Round the last corner. Still a little bit of draft, but it is Marcel in front of Rody by 0.1. Save the fuel to make it happen. Neil Gardner in P5. Mark Redford will finish his race now. Over the line. There is P6. Paolo Ansioso, yeah, incidents in the beginning. But now back to P7. And also, yeah, finishing his race right now. Klaus Biedermann with Chris Wayne behind him. But gap is too big. There you can see the line. And it's Klaus in P8, Chris Wayne in P9. And here comes Ryan Jackson. Oh, photo finish! Who did it? Ryan Jackson P10, Patrick Otoricki in P11, and P12 goes to Gordon. So I think we are done. That's it. The big endurance race, a test of endurance and to be in the right position in the right time, not to get a crash from behind maybe, or an early pit stop which ruins your race. So in the end, Marcel did save the fuel and put himself on a podium. Behind Geoff Randall and Adam Miles, that's the podium for tonight. Let's check into the Discord. Yeah, there's already Adam Miles. Good evening, Adam.
Good evening.
So you finished the test of endurance here tonight with like, I don't know, 15 seconds of gap in front of Jeff. But I think in the beginning it was quite interesting with the draft from behind, even with your pace.
Yeah, I mean Jeff actually had a really good pace. He was staying with me with the draft, but I think he proved later in the race, just after the first stops, that actually he had my sort of pace. He was doing 40.1s when I was doing 40.1s. So yeah, I don't think he was there solely because of the draft. He was there because he was quick.
But I mean, like, if you have the people behind you with the draft, there's always opportunity for an attack. I mean, like Marcel also in P3, he could have gone for a dive or for lunge, but in the end, it would have also hurt him because, yeah, the draft is quite good for the car behind, as you could also have seen with the fastest lap. That's what was I referring to.
Yeah.
So I think the danger is always there that somebody tries something from behind.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, I think I raced with Jeff enough to know that he knows what to do. It's an hour-long race. We had 2 pit stops still to go, so he PM'd me before the race to say, I'm going to try and stay on your draft. So I figured that probably meant he wasn't going to make too much of a fight of it. But yeah, it was good fun anyway. It was quite a long race. I didn't quite sneak the fastest lap. Unfortunately, Jeff got that. But
Hmm.
otherwise, it was a good day.
Yeah, right. I would think so too if you win a race over such a distance. And yeah, I also think like how you did enter the pits was quite crucial to
Mm.
create a gap. I saw like, yeah, there was like at entry you were still more packed together, and after the first pit exit, you were like, I don't know, you created a gap like 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah, actually the gap after the first stops was about 1.2. It was right on the edge of in fact went down to
Mm,
1.1 on that outlap just at a certain moment. So yeah, I'd have to look back and see where I gained that second. I guess probably half of a second was on the on the way in.
hmm.
Um, I'm quite used to doing pit stops from Sunday night skippies, so if you turn off the pit lane speed limiter and do it manually just by holding your foot on the throttle, you can get an extra 1 mile an hour down the
Yeah.
pit lane. So I don't know if Jeff did that, but that could have got me another half a second, and then just attacking the exit line, making sure not to get tricked by the fake pit exit line,
Mm.
and only accelerating off the green cone. So yeah, it's small margins, half a second here, and that gives you the gap, and then just had to really concentrate for about 3 or 4 laps. Actually, he was really quick, so full credit to Jeff.
Yeah, of course, of course. Many points for you and Jeff, and also Marcel with his podium here tonight. So yeah, let's close the show down. The Skip Barber Challenge Trophy here tonight in week 5. Next week we have a, I would say, totally different track. I mean, Indianapolis was for the first time ever,
Mm.
so it was a little bit special, I think, for everyone to get on pace. But next week we have Silverstone, and it's the national variant. I think it's different than Grand Prix.
Yeah, National's the very shortest one. So you come down the old main straight, go through Cops, and then just as you get into Maggots and Beckett's, you
Yeah,
hit the brakes, turn right, and go down the Wellington Straight. So yeah, it's probably only about a 50 or a 1 minute lap. It's pretty quick.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Pretty quick. I also, let's say that way, wouldn't, I mean, we spin the wheel and it's all by luck or chance
Mm.
which format we have, but would you have preferred like Silverstone, a really short track, for an endurance event?
No, I think a longer track makes more sense for an endurance race. It feels more like a bit more real. You tend not to have endurance races at little club circuits. So I said to Chris Rain during the race, that I'm glad the endurance race came this week and not next week.
Okay,
So
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I must say, from the viewer's perspective, I would have said like could be quite interesting with all the pit exits and traffic,
Hmm.
how the race develops then if it on a really short track.
Then again, with the reverse grid race, I think it's more interesting to have the fast guys at the back of a tight, twisty circuit trying to get through the pack than somewhere like here where I would just be able to draft past somebody once a lap.
Mm,
I think I'd have to fight more for in the second race in a circuit like Silverstone National.
yeah, right. You're right. You're right. Let's try something out before we leave the audience. Yeah, that worked. So I prepared the spinning wheel. Let's
Hmm.
have a look if I can get it into the stream. Yep, there it is. And I hit the spin. So let's do this. And it is. What will it be? Number 3. It's number 3, format number 3. Do you have in mind what format number 3 was?
Not off the top of my head, but I can
Ah,
very quickly scroll up. There
thank
we go. Format
you.
3, qualifying, race 1, race 2, top 15 reversed
Top
from race
15.
1.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. I was like with top 60, but it's top 15 and 2 races. So yeah, will be very, very interesting with reverse grid in the second race on the short track, as you predicted. And yeah, will be a barn burner, I would say, because Silverstone, of course, is more likely to feature over 20 cars.
Yeah, I would expect more people to turn up than for Indianapolis. I think this is a week we had to do because iRacing asked it of us, but I think we probably won't be coming back here again very soon.
Okay. Yeah, because the one race I did, really, really liked it. And
You won. You won the race, I think.
I won the race, yeah, in front of
Yes.
Carl. Because we crashed in T1, but it wasn't my fault.
It was not. No, I no blame on you at all for that one.
But in the end, the fun part was like to play with the others, like to get them into a position where they have to fight each other so I could
Mhm.
drive away, because I learned in like 3 or 4 laps, I learned, okay, in the second infield part, I'm 3 tenths quicker or something like that, or 2 or 3 tenths, and I knew I have to make them fight so I can drive away, and it worked in the end.
Yeah.
So, but
Unfortunate.
yeah, yeah, tell.
I was just going. Unfortunately, I have a yet another work trip, which I'm afraid runs from Friday to the following Saturday. So that means I'm going to have to unfortunately miss the next 2 rounds. So
Oh,
no me at Silverstone or Spa, unfortunately.
oh, and also
Oh,
Spa. Oof. Yeah,
that is a
that's
shame.
harsh.
Yeah,
That is a shame.
but I'll be watching from. Well, probably won't be able to watch from the plane because I think that's where I'll be on Friday. But certainly the following week, I'll try and tune in.
Yeah, maybe take your gamepad. I don't know. Jeff is also
Yeah.
here. I hear. I just.
Hello,
Nope, you're not here.
hello.
Okay.
Well, I think I am.
You think, therefore you are. Yeah.
I think, therefore, I am. Yeah, just congratulations to Adam. I'm still trying to figure out how, when I was following Adam down the pit lane in the first pit stop,
Yeah.
what sort of magic tricks do you do, Adam, to be pulling away, going, I've got my pit limiter on, and you were pulling away from me. I'm thinking, how's this happening? I can't go any faster. Do you use a pit limiter, or do you
No,
just go? You
no,
don't.
you can
No.
drive 1 mile an hour faster without a pit lane speed limiter.
There's the difference.
Yeah.
Oh,
And on a pit lane that long, it definitely
it's a
helps.
lot. It's a lot. Yeah. Oh wow. Okay, I shall remember that.
Yeah.
Keep it under your hat.
Yeah.
I
Do
won't
it.
say a
Do
word. Yeah, we
everything
broadcast it
manually.
to the world. Ah, okay, interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, the best is done manually, no? So
Mm.
it's like
Ah,
with
we
everything in iRacing, I guess.
But you
live
will
to
have to be
learn.
careful exiting the pits because I don't know if you have a pit lane speed limiter. I guess you don't even think about when to accelerate. You
Uh,
just keep your foot floored. But here, there's a fake line that is not the pit lane exit line. So if you don't have a limiter, several times this week in qualifying, I've just crossed the white line, accelerated, and then got a 40-second penalty. So I had to quit back to the pits and come back
Ah,
out again. So risk and reward.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, it made just enough difference for that second stage. I tried everything I could to close the gap, but it was just just that 0.2, 0.3 of a second ahead, which was all the difference. But it
Yeah.
was a great fun to try.
yeah, Rody also in the chat said like he had a great race. I mean there were some battles. So I think some people had their fun on the track. Some people really hated it maybe because also of early incidents. So yeah, mixed bag here tonight. Maybe not the best evening for everyone, but you two got the most out of it, points wise, racing wise. So I would say have a good night and see you next time. Are you both there for the super split then?
Uh, yes, this
Yeah,
Sunday I am.
this Sunday.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm
So
certainly hoping to be.
that will be very interesting, I would say, if we get one split maybe.
Actually, apologies. I've just realised I won't be there.
Okay.
Oh no.
I've been summoned to the golf course on Saturday. Ah, of all the things. But no, I won't be there. It's a shame. I would have enjoyed that one.
Okay, so yeah, more chances for the others to get many championship points, but I'm looking forward to Sunday, and I will be maybe surprised who will show up on Sunday for the super split. So yeah, have a good night, Adam, Jeff. Thank you for the interviews and the long talk here.
Thank
Thank
you,
you for your
Sebastian, for
work. Yeah.
enduring the endurance. Much appreciated.
I think I did stand the test of endurance here.
Well done.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Good
Bye
night
bye.
then.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
So that's it. That was the Skip Barber Challenge Trophy. Congrats to the podium. Congrats to everyone who has finished the race. This was the Skip Barber Challenge Trophy round 5 from Indianapolis Road Course. First time ever in the Skippy. Let's have a little rate and then see you all next time here on Sunday with the Super Split.